Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing my labor and delivery story. I've had a lot of people asking me whether I had a C-section, how did my delivery go, so I hope this answers your questions and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Okay guys, so let me reminisce on the most traumatic, painful, yet most beautiful day of my life. For those of you moms that have gone through labor, you know what I'm talking about. So let's see. The week before I had Ashton, I think my last doctor's appointment was that Thursday, and Ashton was late. My doctor said that I was gonna have to get induced that coming Monday if I didn't have him over the weekend. So the week I was supposed to have Ashton, his father flew in, hoping that I would go into labor that week. But Ashton never came. It really sucked because his dad flew in all the way from Houston. So that Friday, my girlfriends took me to the zoo. We walked all around. I went on hikes. I did everything to stay active and walk because everybody said walking would help go into labor. I even tried all these little exercises and stuff, and nothing worked. I was scheduled to be induced at 8 a.m. My son's father had to catch a flight and come out, so he rushed over to LA. When I went in, he wasn't there yet. It was just my mom, and then a little later one of my best friends, Jules. She was so excited to come and see the process and just be there to support me. So that Monday I had to go in to Cedars-Sinai Hospital at 8 o'clock to get induced. I had no idea what to expect. I read different things online. Everyone was saying, oh my god, it's going to be so easy. You're getting induced. You're going to have the baby by that night. Well, when I go in, it was me and my mom. My son's father was flying in that morning. So when I got to the hospital at around 8 o'clock, one of the nurses came in and she says, okay, I'm sure your doctor didn't let you know, but this is going to be a 2-day process. You're going to be here for 72 hours. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was going to be out that day. So I guess to get induced, it's a 2-step process. So the first step is they insert some sort of pill in you that kind of helps you go into labor and start getting contractions. So that went smoothly. I started getting contractions. Everything was going good, and the nurse said if it continued to progress, then I wouldn't have to do the second step of the induction process. Well, I was doing good, and then I guess I stopped progressing. So I just remember once they gave me that second medicine, I couldn't even handle myself. I was delirious. I remember the contractions started coming in little by little. One of my good friends was there at the time, and she was helping me with my breathing. Your breathing is the most important part. I didn't take any Lamaze classes or anything like that, so I didn't know how to breathe appropriately. Thank God she was there because she helped me get through it. So we were going for a walk down the hallways, and I was practicing my breathing. I thought I was gonna die. I don't even get period cramps, so that was the worst for me. The cramps just start building up and building up, and I was just in the hallway crying. I couldn't handle it. I went back in the room. So by this point, I had a room full of people. Some of my son's father was there, my parents were there, a few of my good friends, my mom, my dad, everyone was in the room. It was a blur. I just remember bouncing on one of those medicine balls, and it felt amazing. I started to get bad back pain. I was delirious. It was the worst. So I think it was around 7 o'clock where the doctors had to give me Pitocin to induce my contractions, and that was the second part of the induction. And once they did that, I was in so much pain. I was rocking on the medicine ball. One of my girlfriends was there helping me take deep breaths. I had to walk around in the hallways. They were making me walk, and I couldn't. I was in so much pain. I'll never forget that day. So I just remember it was maybe around 10 o'clock and I hadn't dilated much. I think I had only dilated to like 2 centimeters. And I just couldn't handle the pain from the Pitocin. Like, it was so bad. I was delirious. I had a room full of people and it was just a blur. I was in so much pain. So when I requested Demerol, because I couldn't take the epidural yet, so when they gave me the Demerol, I remember just at least being able to like relax. At this point I was in labor like for a whole day almost, and I was just so exhausted and in so much pain, and I had like the worst lower back pain, like the worst. So once I got the Demerol, it helped with my contractions, but it still didn't help with my back pain. So I was just so tired. The Demerol helped, and you know, the doctors kept coming in and out. I never really got to rest. So I remember it was around 12 a.m. and the doctor had to come in and rupture my bag to move things along. That was the worst experience of my life. I have no idea why. It hurt me so much. I was yelling and crying. I scared everybody in the room. My mom started crying. One of my best friends started crying. My son's father had to like almost walk out of the room. It was a lot. So then around 2 a.m. I just couldn't handle the pain anymore and I requested the epidural. So I went and got the epidural. I was in so much pain that I didn't even care. Like, they pretty much sit you up on, for those of you that haven't went through labor, it's like a whole team of people come in and they sit you up. They make you face, your back faces them, and you're in so much pain that like they want you to sit in the middle of this like table. So just squeezing back even like an inch like this is so painful. But you have to do it. You have to sit a certain way, and I think I had to like bend my back forward. They gave me the shot. Honestly, the epidural didn't hurt me at all. I think because you're in so much pain, you don't even think about it. You just want something to help relieve your pain. So I just remember getting the epidural. It took away all my contractions. It helped so much, and you're able to like push the little thing every time you want more. But my back pain was so bad that it didn't help that. I had the worst back pain. My back was on fire. It felt like it was breaking in pieces. So even when I did get that epidural, I feel like it didn't help. I was just in the worst pain ever. So by the next day, Ashton was in position and he had dropped. However, his chin was facing upward, and I guess due to stress, he pooped inside of me. So I had to have an emergency C-section because they didn't want to risk him getting an infection, me getting an infection. So the nurse came in and I was already dilated at 9 centimeters, and she said that I had to have the emergency C-section. I just started crying. I was so exhausted. I had been in so much pain for so many hours. I was so scared of a C-section. Just the thought of having to go through that type of surgery after I had already been, in labor for so long, I was like, what in the world is going on? I felt like I was in a nightmare. It was the worst. My mom was even by my bed crying, like, please don't have another baby. Like, she couldn't handle seeing me in pain. But anyhow, the doctor took me to the emergency C-section, so it was only me and my son's father that went in the room. I just remember him being super nervous. They made him wait outside and get dressed into, the clothing while they prepped me inside. I just remember them giving me medicine, anesthesia, and I began to like completely numb, and they let him in, and then next thing you know, we were just there like having a conversation, and I felt a little tugging and a little like pressure, but nothing crazy. And you have no idea what's going on, like you just don't feel anything, and within like, I don't know, it felt like within 10 minutes, like I just heard a baby crying, and I will never forget the feeling. Like, I couldn't believe it. It's like you're just filled with so much emotion that you start crying. Like, I mean, we were both so emotional. So it was just the most exciting, beautiful, emotional moment of our lives. My son's father couldn't even wait. Like, he like ran over to grab Ashton, and he was the first one to be able to hold him and see him. So he like recorded Ashton getting cleaned up, and you know, the doctor doing everything. I was just like laying there, like full of emotion. I just wanted to hold my baby, but I had to wait. So I guess like when he like had ran over, he said he saw like all my organs like on a table still. That's how like fast. So that's how fast he ran over there. My organs were still all laid out on the table, so he had to see all that. But he just like ran across and grabbed Ashton. So he ended up bringing Ashton over to me. So my son's father brought Ashton over to me, and I was finally able to hold him, and it was just the most beautiful moment. Like, life was complete at that moment. So Spencer, my son's father, got to go in a separate room with the nurse to give Ashton like his first bath, while I went into like some sort of shock. My temperature went up to like 108. I got an infection. I was shivering nonstop. I was so cold. So while he went into the other room to bathe him, I was still laying there. My body went into complete shock from being so exhausted and all that pain. So I was shivering. I was so cold. It was like so intense that my jaw was like just shivering. My body was shaking. Like, I didn't know what was wrong. Like, I couldn't even focus on the fact that I just had a baby, because my body was just losing it. So they took me into like a separate room, this like small little room, and they I guess my temperature went up to 108, so they had to treat me. And I also got an infection from Ashton pooping in me. So I had planned on saving my placenta to put it into pills, but I was no longer able to use it. The placenta was infected, so I had to lay there for like 2 hours. They had to do all kinds of different things, give me like medication to help my fever go down. They had to give me medicine to help with the infection, and I guess Ashton got an infection too. So long story short, they brought Ashton back to me, and I wasn't even really able to hold Ashton for a good 3 hours because I was shivering so much, and I was just in so much pain, and my body was in shock. So it really sucked. I kind of felt like a little depressed after, like, because everyone else was getting to enjoy him and I couldn't. But within like 2 to 3 hours, my body calmed down and I was able to hold my baby. They finally took me into my room, and I had less guests in my room, and I was just able to, relax and enjoy Ashton. And now they leave the babies with you 24/7 in the room. So it was just great. Like, it was very intimate. It was like my mom, my son's father, and I think I had one of my best friends in the room with me. My dad and my brother were exhausted after being there so long, so they went home to sleep. So after, being in delivery so long, I needed to really just rest. I was in the hospital for 5 days, so I was there from Monday to Friday, and me and Ashton had to get treated for our infection. I did get Ashton circumcised. My C-section was perfectly fine. I think like the next day I was able to like walk around. It was not as difficult as people made it seem. So yeah, that Friday me and Ashton were good to go. Infection was gone, and everything went smoothly. We left the hospital and brought him home. So guys, that pretty much sums up my labor and delivery story. If you guys have any more questions, or if I left out anything, please make sure you leave your if I left out anything, please just leave any comments and questions below. And also, if you have any future post suggestions, I'd love to hear what you guys want to see more of. And again, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and make sure you like this video. Thank you guys.